Honey Tea, also known as Yins and Star, and just plain old Yin. I had to come back and redo the last video. We're just gonna jump right into it. Okay, overexposure. Overexposure begets acceptance. Now, what do I mean by that? There's a natural process to almost anything that you can encounter. And typically, we want to expose things that are hidden. Now, if something is hidden and there's a need to expose, then there has to be action after the exposure. That's a natural process. It's not natural to expose something and then don't do anything about it. Okay, let's take this to Jaguar Wright, the former, I think it's Lazy Bones or Bones, Thugs, and Harmony. He's often on podcasts that's supposedly exposing wickedness and evilness in the music industry. That's just two examples I'll use. Okay, and I won't go too specifically into what they're discussing, but I want to say this. I've listened and I've seen these videos, okay? When the videos first came out, you're because you're being told that it's something that wasn't shared, human nature is going to want to hear it. And so I listened. And time passed and you see these videos done over and over and over and over again. You'll see videos NASA is revealing that there could be actual aliens. Elon Musk has just exposed Apple. Those are some of the videos that I've seen as of late. Or this one thing that was a trend. Oh, something catastrophic is going to happen and people in the United States are going to starve. So, okay, all of these exposures. But one thing that I don't see and becoming a common thread in these exposures is that there's no reveal as to why it's being exposed. There's no plan or blueprint set in motion to deal with the issues of what's being exposed. So we're just going around exposing everything. Now, I want you to take your mindset out of those specifics that I just shared and go to a scenario. Like I say, okay, we'll use this. All right. I was associated with the individual who was a pastor. Okay. And they had a church. And so we visited the church and we stayed at the church. And, there were, afterwards, they served, lunch. And we ate. So I noticed that when we went back again to visit the church and we were sitting in service, and where I was sitting, I could see the door to the kitchen. I started seeing rodents. And not just one rodent, not two rodents, 3, maybe 4. And I became repulsed because I had eaten at this church before and it was food in the kitchen and these rats were in there. And they were just jumping around all on the food. So after service, I shared with the pastor and she was like, yeah, we have a serious issue here in the church. And so I began to I was sitting there waiting for her to, explain what she had done once she realized it. And how was she dealing with the issue? And come to find out, she was pretty much just, doing things like putting traps down and putting food down. But that was the extent of it. and the rats were beating her attempts. It's kind of like that. You know what I'm saying? You just accept it. Even though you know rats can be dirty little creatures, and you're inviting people to this church and you're having the service, and then you're inviting people to fellowship and eat. You've accepted that the rats have beaten you, but you're still going to be there and have your service and bring food. This is the behavior that I'm speaking of that is spreading throughout the internet, and it's creating a toxicity that is beyond some of the issues that we've seen before, like the typical issues, people coming in, being disrespectful, not being considerate of another person, just hiding behind the fact that you can say almost whatever you want to say, and you don't have to follow the guidelines of being, respectfully social. Those were huge issues, but now I'm seeing that there are these pending issues that are going to be a byproduct of just exposing information, yet not putting an end to it. Because the public is curious about secrets. They've heard about secret societies for decades. So now this information is coming out. Of course they want to know. But the people that are giving this information are not being responsible. They're just sharing the information. And because they know the human psyche, and they also know that the public is easily deceived, they're putting the information out for numbers. And that is dangerous and is very irresponsible. So I wanted to come and make note of that. I've decided that if I'm going to click on these videos, then because I'm aware of this, I have to comment already deciding what the solution is that I want. So if I see a video that is saying Elon Musk is now exposing Apple, then I already know that this information is being released, and it's being released in the fashion of being an expose, but ultimately getting you to accept information. So when I go in the comment section, I have to comment to that or something of the sort in order to put in a comment section something that would lead to a solution of these videos just freely being posted and shared. Because it's going to create this byproduct that's, in time, it's going to be a mess. And so I can't, I have to know that those professionals, those analysts, those developers, you too, you got to know these things if I know it. So is it just about the numbers? Or do we now hear this video and say, you know what? She has some valid points. Let's change the guidelines to affect some of what she's addressing. Because if we don't, and we keep allowing these people to just come and expose these videos, then it's going to create an effect on the public. And we're responsible for that if we allow it to ensue without doing something. We can't force them to stop to do it. But maybe if, you know what I think would be a good idea? When it comes to exposing individuals or public, I think people should, there should be a disclaimer. There should be some type of disclaimer. And I don't get paid to work for YouTube. So I'm not going to tell you what it should say because I'm not getting paid for it. Y'all should figure it out. But I think there should be a disclaimer for exposed videos to have a responsibility towards the public. We got to be accountable people. We can't control what people do, but we can control what we do. And it's just irresponsible to let people just keep sharing this exposure information so freely without there being some changes by YouTube. That's what I have to say.